Welcome to the School of the Lost Tribes. For the chosen of the Most High, who need to study to show themselves approved unto the Messiah, sign up at schooloftheLostTribes.teachable.com. The Lucifer doctrine, a man-made concept. The idea that Lucifer is Satan's name is a doctrine created by man. To be clear, this does not mean that Satan does not exist, but rather that Lucifer is not his name. The verse most commonly used to support this belief is Isaiah 14:12, which states, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?" Many use this verse as evidence that Satan's original name was Lucifer. However, this verse does not support that claim. The language issue: Hebrew versus Latin. The Old Testament was written in Hebrew, but the word Lucifer is not Hebrew, it is Latin. Since Hebrew predates Latin, Satan's name cannot be Lucifer because Lucifer is a Latin translation of a Hebrew term. When the King James Bible was translated, the scholars borrowed the word Lucifer from the Latin Vulgate instead of directly translating from the original Hebrew text. However, the actual Hebrew word in Isaiah 14:12 is Hillel, which means morning star or shining one. The origin of Lucifer in the Bible. In 382 AD, when the Latin Vulgate was written, its translators took the Hebrew word Hillel and translated it as Lucifer, which was simply the Latin equivalent of morning star. At that time, they were not naming Satan Lucifer. They were merely translating a Hebrew word into Latin. Later, when the King James Bible was produced, the translators kept the Latin word Lucifer instead of using the English equivalent, morning star. This decision caused later readers to misunderstand the meaning, assuming Lucifer was a proper name instead of a translation. How Lucifer became associated with Satan. As time passed, people began mistaking the Latin word Lucifer for a personal name, rather than recognizing it as simply a translation of morning star. Over time, this misunderstanding led to the false doctrine that Satan's original name was Lucifer. To illustrate this, consider an interlinear Bible that shows the Latin Vulgate next to the King James Version. In Isaiah 14:12, the Latin text states, "Quomodo sesidisti de caelo, Lucifer. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?" Isaiah 14:12. In the King James Version, the phrase appears as, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?" The key point is that every word in the King James translation is in English, except for Lucifer, which remained in Latin. Had the translators rendered the word into English, the verse would have read morning star instead of Lucifer. Who was Isaiah 14:12 really talking about? Isaiah 14 is not even talking about Satan. It is referring to the king of Babylon, who at that time was Nebuchadnezzar. "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?" The reason the phrase morning star is used is not to describe Satan, but because stars represent rulers and high status. Nebuchadnezzar exalted himself in pride, viewing himself as the light of the world. However, the Most High brought him down, stripping him of his power. The true morning star in the Bible is Yahawashai. Revelation 22:16 states, "I, Yahawashai, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star." This means Yahawashai is the true light bearer. Nebuchadnezzar tried to take this position for himself, which is why he was mockingly addressed as morning star, or Lucifer in Latin. However, the Most High appointed Yahawashai to this role. John 8:12 confirms this. "Then spake Yahawashai again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life." Context of Isaiah 14:12, the fall of Babylon. Many assume Isaiah 14:12 refers to Satan's fall from heaven, but this assumption comes from a misreading of the passage. To get the full context, let's look at the previous chapter, Isaiah 13:19. "And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, The beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Clearly, this passage is about the destruction of Babylon. Isaiah 14:1-4 continues, For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, How hath the oppressor ceased? The subject of the chapter is the king of Babylon, not Satan. The morning star being addressed in mockery is Nebuchadnezzar, who exalted himself, but was humiliated by the Most High. Fallen from heaven, a metaphor, not a literal fall. Some people assume that because Isaiah 14:12 says, How art thou fallen from heaven, it must refer to Satan's fall from heaven. However, this phrase is metaphorical, not literal. A perfect example is found in Lamentations 2:1, which speaks about the fall of Israel. How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel? Did this mean Israel was literally in heaven and then thrown down? Or in KJV translation says, How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel, and remembered not his footstool in the day of his anger? Did this mean Israel was literally in heaven and then thrown down? Lamentations 2. 1 describes the severe judgment and wrath of the Most High upon Zion, which represents the Israelite people, specifically Jerusalem. The Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger. This imagery of a dark cloud signifies divine wrath and judgment. The daughter of Zion refers to the people of Israel, particularly the inhabitants of Jerusalem, who faced destruction and exile due to their disobedience. The cloud is symbolic of divine displeasure, as it blocks light and brings devastation. Cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel. This phrase signifies how the Most High removed the glory, prestige, and favor from Israel. Heaven symbolizes a place of divine blessing, while being cast down to the earth indicates severe humiliation and suffering. This could refer to the fall of Jerusalem, the destruction of the temple, and the loss of Israel's former grandeur. Remembered not his footstool in the day of his anger. The footstool refers to the Most High's dwelling among his people, often associated with the Ark of the Covenant or the temple itself, 1 Chronicles 28:2, Psalm 99:5. In this moment of judgment, the Most High temporarily removed his protection and presence from his people, allowing their enemies to triumph over them as a consequence of their rebellion. Context: Lamentations was written as a sorrowful reflection on the destruction of Jerusalem in 586 BC by the Babylonians. The Israelites faced this severe judgment because they had broken their covenant with the Most High, turned to idolatry, and ignored the warnings of the prophets. This verse emphasizes the depth of their suffering and the terrifying reality of divine judgment when his people forsake his commandments. Nebuchadnezzar's pride and fall. Nebuchadnezzar's downfall came because of his arrogance. Isaiah 14:13-14 records his prideful thoughts. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will be like the Most High. This was Nebuchadnezzar's mindset. He sought to elevate himself above all nations, even comparing himself to God. However, verse 15 states, Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Here, hell simply means the grave. He was brought low and humiliated. Isaiah 14:16, Who is Lucifer? Isaiah 14:16 makes it clear that the passage is speaking about a man. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? The passage explicitly calls Lucifer a man, proving that this is not about Satan, but about Nebuchadnezzar. Conclusion: Lucifer is not Satan. The word Lucifer is a Latin translation of the Hebrew Hellel, meaning morning star. The King James translators kept the Latin word Lucifer instead of translating it into English. Isaiah 14 is not talking about Satan, but about Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. The fall from heaven is metaphorical, meaning a fall from a high position to humiliation. Yahweh Shai is the true morning star, not Nebuchadnezzar or Satan. A stern warning: the rise and fall of Lucifer, Nebuchadnezzar, and Israel's redemption. My people, hear the warning. The Most High does not change, nor does his word fail. He is faithful to his covenant, but when his chosen ones break the commandments, they bring judgment upon themselves. This has been the pattern from the time of our forefathers. We were given the law, the promises, and the inheritance, yet time and time again we turned away, worshiping false gods, following after the ways of the heathen, and forsaking the path of righteousness. Because of this disobedience, Yahweh raised up a cruel instrument of punishment, Lucifer, the fallen one, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar, the instrument of Yahweh's wrath. Nebuchadnezzar, the mighty king, was chosen not for his own righteousness, but as a rod of correction to chastise Israel for breaking the covenant. He was lifted up to power to bring judgment upon the rebellious children of Zion, enslaving them, destroying the temple, and bringing them under the yoke of Babylon. The Most High spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. And now have I given all these lands into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and the beasts of the field have I given him also to serve him. Jeremiah 27:6. Nebuchadnezzar was called my servant by Yahweh, not because he was righteous, but because he was being used as a tool of divine punishment. His power was given to him for a season, not for eternity. But just as Babylon rose to punish Israel, it was destined to fall. The curse is not forever. The bride awaits her bridegroom. O Israel, the punishment was never meant to be eternal. The Most High is just, and his love for his people never ceases. Though we were sent into captivity, though we were scattered among the nations, the promise of redemption remained. Isaiah prophesied, "For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land." Isaiah 14:1. The Most High never forsook his people. The curse of captivity would end, and the bride, Israel, would be restored. Yahawashi, our Messiah, is the bridegroom preparing his people for the great wedding. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready. Revelation 19:7. The marriage of the Lamb represents the reunion between Yahweh Shai and his people. But we must prepare ourselves. We cannot be found asleep, lazy, and unclean when our King returns. Rise up, Israel, do the work. This is not a time to be complacent. The world is crumbling, the rulers of this earth are falling, and prophecy is unfolding before our eyes. The time of warning is ending, and the time of action is now. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. 2 Timothy 2:15. Get off the couch, put away the distractions, and prepare yourself. Read and study the scriptures daily. Teach your brothers and sisters. Turn away from sin and walk in righteousness. Work on new habits of holiness, prayer, fasting, and obedience. Spread the gospel to our people and wake them up. The final call: be ready for the kingdom. The wicked will fall, just as Nebuchadnezzar fell. The stars of this world, the rulers, the celebrities, the elites, will be cast down, Mark 13:25. But Yahweh Shai is coming for his own. Will you be found ready, or will you be found asleep, lazy, and unworthy? This is the final warning. Wherefore, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if ye do these things, ye shall never fall. 2 Peter 1:10. Arise, Israel, your redemption draws near. The bridegroom is coming. Prepare yourself. To the scattered and lost sheep of the house of Israel, listen, the message is for you. The chosen have ears to hear and eyes to see. You have been told lies about your identity. You have been led to believe that your history begins with slavery and that you are nothing more than a people with no past, no purpose, and no inheritance. But the truth has been hidden from you, and now the time has come for you to wake up. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. Hosea 4:6. You were never meant to be at the bottom. You are the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the covenant people of Yahweh. The more you research your biblical history, the more you will uncover the hidden truth. The entire Bible is about you and your forefathers. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Joshua 1:8. At first the scriptures may have seemed difficult to understand, but that is because they were never truly taught to you in their proper context. The enemy has worked day and night to remove your connection to this book. But once you open your heart and mind to the truth, Yahweh will reveal his word to you. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things, which thou knowest not. Jeremiah 33:3. Yes, the awakening will shock you. Everything you once believed about history, identity, and even salvation will change. The scriptures will become clear to you, because now you will read them through the eyes of an Israelite, not through the lies of your oppressors. But you must learn from a good teacher, one who rightly divides the word, and does not mix false doctrine with truth. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? Romans 10:14. Do not remain blind and ignorant any longer. Take the time to study, ask questions, and grow in wisdom. Become proficient in the word, so that you may